go to silence. I hear the silence down in my soul. I love the silence down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. Now we feel the power. I feel the power. I feel the power down in my soul. Down in my soul. I feel the power. I feel the power down in my soul. Down in my soul. I feel the power. I feel the power down in my soul. Down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. Oh, yes, it is. And the whole wide world is my home. Thank you. Carrie, I need a little more of monitor, my vocal in monitor 1, please. It's you two. I see joy, I see peace, I see goodness surrounding me. I see love in every breath I breathe. I see God in everything. I see happiness, I see freedom. I see the beauty that lives in me. I see perfection in what life brings. I see God in everything. I feel joy, I feel peace, I feel goodness surrounding me. I feel love in every breath I breathe. I feel God in everything. I feel happiness, I feel freedom. I feel the beauty that lives in me. I feel perfection in what life brings. I feel God in everything. I know joy, I know peace, I know goodness surrounding me. I know love in every breath I breathe. I know God in everything. I know happiness, I know freedom. I know the beauty that lives in me. I know perfection in what life brings. I know God's in everything. I know God's in everything.
Come on, there it is. Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Santa Rosa. I'm Betty Smith, and I'm happy to be here this morning. So let's give some more love and thanks to Christopher, who disappeared, and the members of the band. If you are joining us for the first time, I want to extend a warm welcome to you and your family. We love having children sit with you in the sanctuary or in the family room. We also have a coloring table out in the social hall to make dazzling creations, which we will post on our bulletin board. And thank you to our live stream viewers. We are so grateful you're sharing this time with us online. If you love watching the service on Facebook or YouTube, click the share button at the bottom of the screen. That helps us get the word out and extends this beautiful teaching into the world. If you would like more information about what is happening at our center, visit cslsr.org. There you'll find a Sunday bulletin by clicking on the photo of the typewriter at the homepage. It contains everything that's happening here at the center. And if you're new and you're wondering what we're all about, you can pick up the What We Believe pamphlet at our information desk or email Linda Han, and she will send you a copy. At the center, we are inspired by a global vision that calls us to imagine a world that works for everyone. Here is a portion of that vision for us to contemplate. We envision a world in which resources are valued, cared for, and grown, and where there is generous and continuous sharing of these resources. We follow our vision through the 5 core spiritual practices of our teaching. Would you please read them with me? Spiritual study, affirmative prayer, meditation, selfless service, and spiritual circulation. I know that somewhere between the music and the prayers and the message is exactly what you need to experience for the next step of your spiritual unfoldment. You are welcome here. Now please enjoy some music before a few moments of silence.
Every thought is a prayer. Every prayer is a flower. Let it bloom in the sunshine of God's love. Won't you join me? Every thought is a prayer. Every prayer is a flower. Let it bloom in the sunshine of God's love. Every thought is a prayer. Every prayer is a flower. Let it bloom in the sunshine of God's love. Every thought is a prayer. Every prayer is a flower. Let it bloom in the sunshine of God's love.
It is in this conscious pause that we bring our awareness, our attention to that which is our origination, that which is our source, our life, our love, our power. It is that which sustains, calls, and directs, blesses, and heals. And I recognize that I am, that we are that same nature, that same quality, that same beingness, that same isness we are. So I speak a word of joy, of presence, of openness to receive, to allow. For that which is called or desired or wanted can evidence itself. I am grateful, I'm thankful for this word, for this time, for this right now. And I release this into that of the Almighty that always says yes, and I let it be. And so it is. Good morning. My name is Lawrence Edwards. I'm a practitioner here at the center. Please join me in reading this week's affirmation. I open fully to God's circulation as money in my life.
Sometimes I tear and sometimes I cut words of wisdom, I pin them up, hang them on the walls, and I tape them to the door. Good advice from those who've gone before. Words like these set me free. What I seek is seeking me. Life's a journey, not a race. What is mine will know my face. I can live each day, let it be. What is mine will find me. Live each day, let it be. What is mine will find me. It's amazing what garbage people tell themselves. Like stuff happens, life is hell. Words have the power to change how we feel. They can hurt, they can heal. Words like these set me free. What I seek is seeking me. Life's a journey, not a race. What is mine will know my face. I can live each day, let it be. What I seek is seeking me. Live each day, let it be. What is mine will find me. Now, Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true. Easy for him to say, but so hard for us to do. So I need inspiration to make me strong. From poets and heretics and books and songs, tell us how to succeed, how to get along, so we can live it, learn it, pass it on. set me free. What I seek is seeking me. Life's a journey, not a race. What is mine will know my face. Now I can live each day, let it be. What is mine will find me. Live each day, let it be. What is mine will find. Oh, find me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Christopher Fritchie and our wonderful band for that inspiration, and good morning to you. Hello, beautiful people of the Center for Spiritual Living, Santa Rosa. Once a year in our spiritual community, we talk together about the year that is coming up. 2023 is on the way, and we call this season our Giving Intention season. We take 4 weeks to mindfully ask ourselves, each person asks themselves, what will I contribute to the Center for Spiritual Living next year in 2023? And you may have noticed that's why there are tables set up outside in the social hall when you came in. If you are here in person, you might notice that there are tables there, and they are staffed by our team called the Giving Intention team. And the Giving Intention team is a group of volunteers from the community who make themselves available to answer the big questions. Why give? How give? How frequently should I give? Or anything else you might want to know about the Giving Intention season. So they're there. And if you're online, you can access the form that we in person have access to here. Online, cslsr.org. You look for the image that has a hot air balloon in it, and then click on that, and it'll take you to our Giving Intention form for 2023. And if you go to that form, you will notice something new. If you've ever done this before, this time you'll see something new. You'll see on the list all 12 of the nonprofit partners that we have selected from your nominations, the ones that we have selected from 2023, and I'll tell you why in a moment. So the way it works with the nonprofit program is we ask you to nominate a nonprofit partner that you have either volunteered for, have a relationship with, or have benefit from their services. And then we receive all those nominations, and do you know, in some years, we receive upward of 50 nominations. And then your Giving Intention team of volunteers sit down and they review every single one of those organizations to make sure that they are a nonprofit organization registered somewhere, and then they select from them 12 that are closely matched with our values and our vision of a world that works for everyone. Then throughout the year, we send each one of those 12 organizations a check to support their work in the world. So here are the list of 12 that we've selected for 2023. CASA's court-appointed special advocates, volunteers who establish stable relationships with foster children to make informed decisions to the court on their behalf. Days for Girls International, helping women and girls in developing countries around the world to shatter stigmas and limitations in their lives due to their menstrual cycles. Food for Thought Food Bank, providing healing nutrition and compassion to thousands of people living with serious medical conditions in Sonoma County. Forget Me Not Farm, helping at-risk children and youth break the cycle of abuse. And they do this through animal-assisted and horticultural therapeutic activities. Interfaith Shelter Network is providing homeless families and individuals Well, they provide them with rapid rehousing services that include tenant counseling and even financial assistance and psychotherapy and case management. Jewish Community Free Clinic that provides free health care, medication, and labs to anyone without charge. Nuestra Comunidad, dedicated to improving the health, safety, and well-being of the community through emergency services awareness, youth leadership program, and meetings that promote both mental and physical health. Petaluma People Services, hands-on, face-to-face support for children, adults, and seniors, and it includes counseling, job placement, gang-related support for prevention, daily hot meals, even rides to doctors. Project Quetzal, improving the lives of indigenous families in rural Guatemala through education, nutrition, and projects for economic development. Redwood Empire Food Bank, distributing food to partner organizations in Sonoma, Lake, Mendocino, Humboldt, and Del Norte counties for the benefit of everyone from seniors to children. Sonoma County Acts of Kindness, providing meals and other basic necessities to those in our community who do not have permanent roofs over their heads. Sonoma Family Meal, creating meals from locally sourced ingredients and rescued perishables for families and seniors who are experiencing food insecurity. So you may notice that many of these organizations are working in the realm of food security because that matches our value of compassion and love, as well as our vision of a world that works just a little bit better for everyone. And I wanted to read this list to you, even though you can find it on our website. I wanted to read it to you because this year we're doing something different on our giving intention form. When you complete your giving intention form online or in person on a piece of paper, when you tell us how much you estimate and you plan to contribute next year, 2023, to the center, you also get the opportunity to select one of these organizations, and when you do, that organization will receive an additional financial gift from us as a way of honoring and recognizing your commitment to supporting your center in 2023. It's our way of saying thank you for participating and then extending that commitment into generosity as well. So why do we have a giving intention season? Well, there are many reasons. One of them is to build a relationship between each of us and this thing called the Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa. You know, when people show up at the Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa, I guess they expect somebody to be here to deliver a message or to teach a class. They expect somebody to open the gates for the parking. They expect somebody to be watching out for the tarmac to make sure it's properly maintained and for the weeds to be pulled. They expect somebody, well, to turn on the lights and to run the cameras and set up the power presentations and all the things that can make our live stream be a live stream. We expect somebody to be watching out and paying the bills, keeping the electricity on, making things happen. And that someone, that somebody is you and me and every one of us in this room and online. It's us. And the relationship building part of it is, well, don't you know relationships have an element of loyalty and dependability built into it. So it's this statement: you can count on me to play my part, whatever it is, because that's unique. So during our giving intention season, we ask ourselves, and I'm inviting you to ask yourself, what can I be counted on for in 2023, especially when it comes to financial support? Hey, Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa, you can depend on me for, what is it? It's a very gentle process, really. It's easy, and there's no requirement that you participate. There's no minimum amount or maximum amount. You won't receive a bill. It's a personal process. It's a personal decision that you and I ask, what do I think I will give next year? And then when you share that information by writing it down or filling out the form online, the giving intention form, well, then it helps inform the staff and leadership what's coming in every week. And then they can use that information to make an orderly plan. Oh, yeah, John let us know he's giving X amount of dollars once a week. Oh, yeah, Susie said she's going to give X amount of dollars every other week. Oh, yeah, etc., etc. And then we can count on that and plan a budget. Do you know this month, October, we're talking about the spiritual practice called circulation. Those are all the practices that help us stay in the flow of life through such things as giving and receiving and asking and forgiving and recognizing and acknowledging and thanking. And it's the focus of our Wednesday evening service at 7 p.m. in person here in the sanctuary. And this coming Wednesday, Reverend Russ is talking about that spiritual skill called asking. So I want to start practicing early by asking you today, every one of you in the room, and every one of you online, I'm asking you, please participate in your center in this way, in our giving intention season today. How? Pick up a form on the way out, or today go online and complete your form. And if you need to, please ask any member of the team whatever question you have that will help you participate today, because we really do want every person who considers this to be their source of spiritual inspiration, their home, to participate. Whether that's $1 per week or $600 per month, whatever it is, please just let us know what you can be counted on for 2023. And if there is something that is blocking you from participating, I invite you to explore that. Talk to me about it. Talk to any one of the team members about it. And today is a good day to look at that, because today I'm talking about the things that get in the way, that block us from being in the flow of life, whether that's an attitude or an idea or an attachment or a possession or, those things. So I'm playing with this idea lately of what might happen in my life if I let go a little more, especially of control. It seems to me that it's something that I get to learn and then relearn and then learn again. Do you? It's like endless. This spiritual art of letting go or dropping control so that I can experience movement and be in the flow of life. Now, there is a classic story about letting go in our times. It's written by Richard Bach, and I like to read it at least every 5 years. It's about the adventures of a reluctant Messiah. Here it goes. Once there lived a village of creatures along the bottom of a great crystal river. The current of the river swept silently over them all, young and old, rich and poor, good and evil. The current going its own way, knowing only its own pure crystal self. Each creature in its own manner clung tightly to the twigs and the rocks of the river bottom, for clinging was their way of life. And resisting the current was what each had learned from birth. But one creature said at last, I am tired of clinging. Though I cannot see it with my eyes, I have a vision of something greater. I trust that the current knows where it is going, I shall let go and let it take me where it will. For from clinging I shall surely die of boredom. The other creatures laughed and said, Fool, let go, and that current that you worship, it will throw you and tumble you and smash you against the rocks, and you will die quicker than from boredom. But the one heeded them not, and taking a breath, did let go, and at once was tumbled and smashed by the current against the rocks. Yet in time, the creature refused to cling again, and the current lifted him free from the bottom, and he was bruised and hurt no more. The creatures downstream, to whom he was a stranger, cried, See, a miracle! A creature like ourselves, yet he flies. See, the Messiah has come to save us all. And the creature carried in the current said, I am no more the Messiah than you are. The river delights to lift us free, if only we dare to let go. Our true work in this voyage is this adventure. Let go. But they cried even all the more, Savior! All of the while clinging to the rocks. And when they looked again, he was gone. And they were left with making legends about a Savior. Now, clearly, there is a lot to unpack in that story. The part I'm interested in today is that part that speaks to clinging on during those times when I ought to be letting go. Now, of course, in life there are times when it is wise to stand still where you are and to hold on. So I'm not talking about those times when it is spiritually sound and a good idea to retreat into stillness and not move. There are definitely times like that. I'm talking about those other times in my life when I'm stuck where I am and I can't get going. Either it's because I don't know any better, because like the creatures from birth, I was taught another way. Or my attachment to something is preventing me from taking that step. Or I've developed a habit that I can't seem to break. I can't get into action. I just received an email from one of our congregants, and I've deleted their name so I don't out them. It goes like this. Before the pandemic, we attended the second service every Sunday, with the rare exception of one of us being sick. It was an automatic habit, never even asking each other whether or not we would go. It was our habit. Obviously, during the pandemic, that habit got broken, and we have struggled to reinstate it. We became used to it, and it was just too easy to sit down in our jammies and watch it. We watched it stream. Now, we talk about it every Saturday, and we plan to go the next day. But then, it's just too easy not to make the effort. And once again, put it on the screen. Neither of us like that we have not gotten back into the habit and we've not given up on it. So thank you for continuing to be there every Sunday. And we will hopefully get back on track, because being with community does matter. Now, so first of all, I have to say to everyone, especially the authors of that email, there's no right or wrong way to do this, right? And for those in our community who continue to enjoy our services online, we love you and embrace you just the way that you are. And we want you to feel as much part of whatever is happening here as if you were in the room with us. No judgment there. Still, I gotta say, I miss you. I do. We miss you. There's no doubt about that. Now, it could be the case that you're in a different city now, or even in a different country. And so I'm really glad that we are able to welcome you into community by way of live streaming and the miracle of the internet. So take your time. There isn't a right time. Now, I will tell you this, though. Since we started meeting in person, Our whole spiritual center has been going through a wake-up. And all of the systems that make the center what the center is are being restarted like some machine that's been standing dormant for a long time. It's starting to get going again. The pandemic was a setback because it helped create certain habits of isolation, for sure. So the awakening has been slow but steady and so heartwarming. You know, when people show up in person for the first time, they tell me they experience that feeling of being again with people who share their values and their heart and their worldview, and it means the world. And do you know, some people walk in here after the first time, after not being here for years, and they start crying spontaneously. And some have said to me, you know, it's just like that first time when I came to the center and something in me recognized home. And I felt home. And I felt that feeling of not being alone in the world. I felt that feeling of what it's like to realize that there are other people in the world who think similarly as I do. So beautiful. Well, I can empathize with the people who wrote that email trying to break out of their habit, because I get comfortable sometimes. I've got comfortable with things during this pandemic that I need to break out of. I get comfortable sometimes just right where I am, and I don't want to let go of how it is. Do you know that holding on to things like that in my life seems to get in the way of me being in the flow of the greater yet to be? It's no judgment, I just noticed that. So I'm looking at that, letting go, holding things a little less tightly. I noticed that that can free up energy. The energy that was used to hold on, it can be freed up, well, to do absolutely anything else. Then my true, authentic nature can come out. And then life, it seems, can bring me to or flow through me in the form of whatever that next thing is that it seems to always want for you and me. You know, in that story about the reluctant Messiah, it's a fun story, but in my opinion, it leaves out some of the complexity of life. It's promising that once we learn to let go, nothing will ever be challenging again. After we let go, it'll be fine. The reality is, no. Sorry. We still experience loss and disappointment. We still get attached to things and peoples and outcomes and loves and cling on when we know we ought not to. And from time to time, we forget everything we've ever learned. And know. And we become loyal again to clinging on. And that's where practice comes in. Because every time you and I practice holding something a little less tightly, say it like that, every time we are successful in letting go, whether it's a big one or a little one, every time we are practicing that, we are also practicing having confidence in life. And we are paving the way to that place within where we know exactly what it means to be a little more free. Practicing letting go. Well, it's about putting less effort into resisting life so that energy can be freed up for something else. And the ways of practicing letting go include trying to say yes more often, trying to be more generous, trying to say thank you more frequently, trying to receive more gently, trying to appreciate more consistently, and trying to get clear with myself about what it is that I want out of life. And these are the practices that we are talking about on our Wednesday evening in-person service at 7 p.m. Now, when I notice that I am holding on to something, it could be a friend's attention. Could be the affection of someone. It could be a desired outcome that isn't going the way I want it to go. Or I could be trying really hard to be somewhere else than where I actually am. Or it could be stressing out about trying to look a certain way that I don't look. Do you know what I mean? When I notice that's going, if I can catch myself in my busy mind, just if I can catch it, then what I do is I take a breath and pause to ask myself, my true self, my innocent self, what here feels more flowing and less resisting? And that simple question to myself seems to be what frees up the energy that I was using to hold tightly. And it frees it up to be used for something else, like cooperating, connecting, solving, creating, self-loving, or any number of endless possibilities that are more flowing in experience. That simple question, what here feels more flowing that I could be or do or know, and less resistant? And that question is an act of acceptance. Like we say at the end of almost every service about life, I accept it just the way that it is. And just the way that it is not. And in that saying, we're acknowledging that this moment that we're in can only and always be exactly what it is. And acceptance isn't the same as giving up. Because I'm still going to be interested in what life inside of me wants to do. What does it want to do next? But first I'm going to accept where I am. I'm going to let it be. And then I'm going to take that breath and ask some form of that question. I'm going to ask it of my spiritual self. I might ask, what is mine to do here that is more flowing? Or I might ask, what does life within me want me to do here that is more flowing? And every time I talk about surrender and going with the flow, I've got to be careful with myself. I've got to remind myself that there is a fine line between letting go and being reckless. Being reckless might be when I say, I don't have to pay any attention because Spirit's got my back. Or I say, I don't have to act in a responsible way. Or I don't need to speak up for people who cannot speak up for themselves. Or I don't need to pay any attention to my obligations because I've let go. And I'm going with the flow now. No, it's not that. Because I still have choice. I still have creativity. I still have life. So finally, when I can stop and breathe and ask myself, what here wants to happen that is more flowing and less resistant? I try not to jump too quickly to an answer. I try to rest in the pause. And I try to drop my opinions. I try to drop urgency if I can. I try to drop defensiveness as much as possible. I even try to drop the need I feel to explain why this moment should be different. I try to let my racing mind just slow down a little bit so that I can take the position of being an observer of life and to watch from within, to watch. And in that way, to be available for life's signs and signals and prompts. It's a form of practicing patience. It's a way of reclaiming wasted power. And it's a type of prayerfulness. And I'd like to practice it with you right now. So I invite you to breathe in and to exhale, let go of everything and anything as much as possible. And that which cannot be let go, to hold it lightly. And without trying to make the mind do anything or to still the voices or to negate or quiet or redirect, to just be attentive and available. And as a gentle moment presents itself, I might suggest to my deeper mind, there is that within me that is at peace, that which knows and knows that it knows. There is that within me which is in its original state, whole, holy, pure, innocent. And from that place within, I observe. And in this attitude of mindfulness, I ask, what does life within me want to do here, to express here, to be here? And having planted that question in my deeper mind, I release even further, not rushing to any answer, but understanding that somewhere, somehow, as I move through the day today, I will be and am now attuned to life's ministry. Life, the living Spirit Almighty, that which creates in me is my creativity. Life, the living Spirit Almighty, that which knows is in me as knowledge. And I rest with confidence in it today. Deeply grateful for this moment of practice and that which comes from it. I release this word into the law of mind by saying, and so it is. I invite you to take a breath in with me and to sigh. And that breath helps me to make the transition into the part of our time together which is called the offering. And so we do it digitally, but also in an analog way because we have baskets at the door. And there are all kinds of ways for you to participate in sustaining your center. Now, some of you are writing checks, some of you are using the online version, and a growing number of people are texting to give. And so we keep record of the giving so that we can give you a statement at the end of the year if you desire it, if you want to know how you're doing. So we keep those records. We also write down what you said your giving intention for this year is. And if you want to know, what did I commit to for 2022? Because perhaps you can't remember. We can look that up for you too, because you might want to up that for next year, especially if you're in the automatic giving program where the contributions are deducted automatically from your bank account, always in your control. So there's all kinds of information. If this is pretty new to you and you're like, I need more information about what this man is talking about, at the table, there's the paper version of the giving intention form, and there is an explanation of what it looks like and how it works, and talks about what happens if your circumstance. We've been collecting questions from our members for years. We've probably got your answer. Okay, let me tell you about the ways to give. First of all, you can, I believe the first slide is text to give. I'm so glad I got that right. There is the number. It's a reminder. This is a technology that's becoming very popular in the world. Please consider it if you want an easy way. You know what I like about text to give? I've already got my automatic deduction going from my paycheck into the center. But every now and then I feel like I want to give something more, or I feel inspired, or I win the lotto, or this is so easy. It's easy peasy. Also, if you go to cslsr.org, you'll see under /donate all the ways that you can contribute. Most important for me to say to you is thank you for being here online. Thank you for loving your center. And thank you for all of the people who volunteer. Well, as I said, we're coming back to life, and we cannot, well, we can imagine why it's happening, because people are just showing up with their time and their energy. And thank you if you've ever said a prayer on behalf of your community. This is the time to do it. And thank you if you pledged in 2022, and thank you in advance for filling out your giving intention form. When? I love you so very much. And now Betty Smith, our practitioner emeritus, is going to come up and complete us by giving us information about what's going on in our community. Welcome, Betty.
As Dr. Edward mentioned, the Wednesday evening services are back in person right here this coming Wednesday at 7 p.m. We'll be talking about the spiritual practice of asking, and our own talented Christopher Fritchie will share some meditative music with us. And our bookstore will be open for your holiday shopping. This week, this midweek evening meditation, Inviting the Sacred, is back also. Join Reverend Scioto Bell on Zoom from 6 to 6:45 every Wednesday for a deep meditation experience to help you relax and open to serenity and peace. You can find the Zoom link by clicking on the photo of the white lotus flower on our website. Reverend Tara Steele will facilitate a class called Consciousness and the Creative Process, with readings by Thomas Troward and Ernest Holmes. This class begins Tuesday, November 1st, and you have a choice. You can either come to the morning session on Zoom at 9 a.m. or the in-person evening session at 6 o'clock at the center. You can find more information and register by clicking on the photo of the pottery on our homepage. Every year, we honor the passing of our loved ones with our annual remembrance service. And this year it's happening on Wednesday, November 2nd at 7 p.m. right here in the sanctuary. It's hosted by Reverend Scioto Bell and the Grief and Loss Support Ministry. If you would like to have the names of your loved ones read aloud, you can visit the information desk, and their names can be added to the remembrance list. Or you may email your names to Reverend Scioto. You can find more details on our homepage by clicking on the photo of the calendar. So you may have noticed all these pumpkins on our stage. They seem to multiply when nobody's around. If you haven't guessed by now, they are for our pumpkin carving party on Sunday, October 30th at 12 noon, right after the second service. We would love to see you and your kids and your grandkids for this fun Halloween-themed event. Enjoy pumpkin carving and face painting and light snacks. Costumes are encouraged and everyone is welcome. Please let us know ahead of time if you're coming so we can plan accordingly. Bring your own pumpkins or order pumpkins online. Simply sign up on our website by clicking the photo of the jack-o'-lanterns. And on your way out, take some time to enjoy the fine art in our social hall by Marcella Ford and Bob Hart. And thank you for being with us today. I hope you have a delightful week.
Thank you so much, Betty. And now it is time for us to close our service. If there's something that is incomplete in you, or if you cried yourself to sleep last night, or if there's something you want just to celebrate in prayer, please consider our spiritual support services. We have online Zoom personal prayer, and we also have prayer in person with a practitioner in the north wing. Exit the building, turn left, and that takes place between the first and second service. So it's available to you today. Now, won't you please stand saying, something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind, life is in my body, and life is in my affairs. I think it, I feel it, and I accept it just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Know with me that you are never alone, that Spirit is right where you are, that you have only to look within at any moment to know that you are guided, sustained, and inspired by a presence that expresses itself as you in this world. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly, so that in everything that we do and say and think, we honor this presence within. And so it is. Thank you for being here. We'll see you all soon, and let us close with music.